go get the anesthesiologist. What the does that mean? It was giving unmedicated birth. Real details about labor and delivery. Okay, I just wanted to put a little makeup on for you. I have no lash on. This is straight up 15-minute my makeup. Anyways, as you can see, my backdrop is full baby. Okay, I chose induction because I was just a bit uncomfortable. It's not even a bit uncomfortable. At the time, I felt I was super uncomfortable. I felt like I was super tired. I'm like, I'm not getting any rest. Yeah, so I'm just like, you know, I'm ready for my baby girl to be here. I don't think she's coming, so let's just go ahead and kick her right on out. Honestly, looking back, and there's no like, I don't have any like regrets. I don't have any regrets for the plan that I chose. But honestly, looking back, I would be like, you know what, you probably could do 45 days, 41 weeks, or even 42 weeks. And it's crazy to say, because when I heard of different birth stories where, you know, mommy was like, you know, I delivered at 42 weeks. I was like, girl, you who? You what? Diabolical. I also feel like I gaslit myself like super bad. Like I gaslit myself so bad. Like, and so a lot of people around me did too. They were like, oh, she's gonna come early. You're carrying big. My doctor was like, you know, you actually have a lot of fluid around, so your measurements are actually 2 weeks ahead. So in my mind, this whole time, I'm like, oh, she's coming 2 weeks ahead, honey. 38 weeks, we're good, we're done. I'm not saying it in a way where it was like, should have done it, I wasn't in my right mind. Nothing like that. We get to the hospital and we check in. I get into a labor and delivery room. It was actually very large. The room that I was in, I delivered at Piedmont, Atlanta. Off Peachtree, and the room that I was in actually to recover is small as hell. So that's so crazy. Like, so the labor and delivery room is huge. It's huge, honey. It has a very nice shower, all the things. The room that I was recovering in, honey, it full-fledged gave hospital. Okay, full-fledged gave hospital. And I haven't had any major surgeries, you know, or anything like that, thank you guys. So like that was very much so like, oh, anyway, so they hooked me up to the monitors and things. They hooked the baby up to the monitors and stuff. And you know, during your pregnancy, you're literally worrying every single day about your baby. And I also felt some relief like, oh, okay, so they're gonna be monitoring her and I can kind of relax. Is that weird? Again, worrying my entire pregnancy, anything that happened, I'm like, is my baby okay? Is my baby okay? And honestly, it took me all the way up until like seeing this girl to be like, girl, where you came from? Surely not here. Okay, surely not. So my appointment was at 5:30. I actually didn't end up, I got into my room at 5:30 completely fine. I actually didn't end up getting the balloon. So they inserted a balloon and then they have like a syringe where they actually fill the balloon up with saline, water, something like that. And so it goes into the vag, deflated, and then they inflate it up, right? Okay, cool. So as soon as they put that in, like after that was done, like 2 seconds later, honey, I'm having contractions. Them contractions, baby, I don't know why everybody keeps saying that you can't really remember. It's just that you can't really go into your mind and be like, let me feel that pain. Maybe because I'm not that far out, but I can recall, honey. So my contractions start and we had a little like labor and delivery playlist. But labor is not a joke. I'm not even playing with you. It's literally not a joke. So I'm listening to the music and stuff like that. My husband puts it on. I'm walking around because I have not gotten my epidural at this point. My nurse, she was really cool. So she was like, hey, I can put you on the monitor, 20 minutes on the monitor, 20 minutes off the monitor. So that basically that just meant that I was hooked up to the monitor, and so I couldn't really walk too far. But when she took me off, I could walk wherever I needed to walk. It was giving unmedicated birth, but that was not the plan in any way, shape, or form. I knew that when I went into labor that I wanted to, you know, kind of walk around and be on the ball. By the way, the ball wasn't really comfortable or anything like that for me, but walking was super comfortable. And I was just walking in the labor and delivery room because, like I said, it was large enough for us to do so. Then them contractions, they really picked up, and my husband suggested that I get into the shower. So I got into the shower, and all of a sudden, honey, I was like, you know what, I see why the unmedicated girlies can be unmedicated. That hot water does something to you, honey. I think, you know, I was like, hey, wait, if I consider this water the whole time, we're gonna be good. Of course, I can stand in the shower forever, but I was in the shower for like 30 minutes. And that hot water never went cold. Sorry, Piedmont. Y'all sent me this big old bill, so I used all your hot water. As soon as I got from underneath that shower water, the contractions really smacked me back in the face. And I was like, oh. I get the balloon inserted at 6:30. Around 2 a.m., I asked for my epidural. The nurse, you know, was like, oh my gosh, like, do you feel like you need it? Are you sure you need it? I'm like, bitch, go get the anesthesiologist. Hit them up. I got the epidural. By the way, the epidural, least of your worries, which is what I thought. You get a initial needle. That first needle is what numbs you, and then after that they put the actual epidural medication in that part you do not feel. You only feel the numbing needle, and the numbing needle is just literally like a little pinch. But honey, after all it is that you're going through, you're really not worried about that. So I personally felt like the epidural was the least of my worries. I'm gonna give it, in regards to pain, a 4, a 3, very minimal. It's something that you do feel for the numbing like needle, like I said, but after that, you know, you feel the medication, you literally feel it going into your back and things like that. So the epidural kicks in, honey, but 2 hours later, I'm back to feeling how I feel. Piedmont actually does what's called straight catheters. I had never heard of it before. And so basically what they do is insert like this flexible tube, kind of like a straw. They put it in your, and they're draining the fluids, you know, the fluids from your body, because of the fact that you have an epidural, you're not walking anymore, and obviously you're not going to the bathroom anymore, and so they use that to drain your bladder. And the first time that she did it, I did not feel anything at all. The second time she did it, I felt it, and they literally use their fingers like this. They pull back the vag, and then they find the urethra and drain your bladder. Sweetie, sweetie, sweetie. That thing hurt. That thing hurt. It was very uncomfortable. It hurt so bad. And they were doing that about every 2 hours. By the way, that's probably the most aggy thing about being at the hospital, is the fact that they are coming in every couple of hours. Every couple of hours they're coming in, they're doing something. The balloon had been in, and I believe she took it out probably around midnight. Honestly, the epi, she didn't hit like I thought she would, honey. I think the anesthesiologist did tell me that they are looking to have epidurals not be as potent. I'm sorry, what? Those were the only things that I feel like the epidural actually did. I wasn't able to move my legs. However, I could feel my vag, I could feel my booty cheeks, I could feel, you know, every single thing else except for my thighs. I hit the epidural button, however, but my labor was located in my booty cheeks. I feel like when they describe pressure, that means that it's really not painful, or at least that's what I thought. The pressure is crazy. It felt like there was literally a bowling ball above my rectum trying to push through. I kid you not. 6:30 balloon, 12 a.m. take it out, 2 a.m. epidural. And so now we're going to move on to the next day. I am still in labor, and my doctor actually comes in at 6 o'clock. When we were at the appointment, she was like, I'm going to come in at 6 and we're going to deliver a baby. Love the positivity. By the time she checked me at 6 a.m., I was still 4 centimeters dilated. So that means 12 hours of labor now at this point. And I am not even halfway. I'm not halfway. I'm starting to really lose steam, because the epidural, you cannot eat. I'm having ice. I was having Italian ice, which was really good, honey. In my labor and delivery room, it was just my husband and my best friend. For some reason, they were not able to get my IV into my arm too well. I actually had like bruising all on my forearm for a few weeks after delivery. They poked in this hand when they pushed the fluids through. It actually ended up making my hand swell because it was going the opposite way. And again, I was like, is this, like, my hand is swelling up. Is this normal? So the last time that they did the straight cath removal, I was at my wit's end. Again, I'm crying. I actually ended up throwing up, which is crazy. My body, I'm like kind of shaking and things like that, because they were like, well, she shouldn't be able to feel it. I'm like, I can feel everything. Like I said, my best friend was a super great advocate. Make sure you got an advocate in the room you know, people who can speak for you on your behalf. When you are just like, you know, trying to bring a baby into the world, you really can't think of too many other different things. So I ended up getting a permanent calf and we eliminated that problem. However, my doctor comes back in 11 o'clock, girl. She's like, okay, nothing's happening still. I have not progressed. 4 centimeters still, 0% of face. Baby has not come down. So she's like, let's start your Pitocin. Honestly, I really meant to ask about that like the night before when I got my when I got the balloon. I thought they were going to do the Pitocin and the balloon together, but I didn't ask. Anywho, so she goes ahead and starts the Pitocin. And of course we know those things are, it was just intense. It was super, super intense. It's just like, you know, when your body goes into labor naturally, there isn't that natural progression. And I do see where Pitocin and getting induced and things like that have things just, you know, just happen immediately and you're trying to catch up. It ended up increasing my Pitocin and my baby did not respond well to it, and her heart rate dropped like low. Like my doctor was like, prepare an OR, turn her over. I'm like, why not screaming? What's going on? What's happening? Ah! They like flipped me over. Like I said, I was not able to feel my legs, so I could not help. They gave me oxygen and it literally just scared me. I'm crying. My doctor was like, girl, I ain't seen you cry like this. Thing is that if you know me and you're in my little, you know, I love a good cry, but I don't tend to, I don't share that across the room. So it was interesting for my doctor to be like, oh my gosh, girl, you crying? Girl, yes, I'm crying. My baby's heart rate is dropping. Like, this ain't good. Her heart rate ended up dropping again. And so around 3 o'clock, so that was around 11 a.m. So around 3 p.m., I started to tell my doctor, like, you know, like I am running out of steam, baby. I'm not going to be able to push. It looks like for another day, another 2 days or something like that. And we're not even sure if that's going to be the case. You know what I mean? She did end up breaking my water, and that was so crazy. It literally felt like I was peeing on myself. Like, and I guess it was the way that I was propped up in the bed. I really wanted to be very, very straight up. Like, I didn't like leaning back, so I wanted to be as straight as that bed would be, and that was really, really crazy. And so, you know, we've broken the water and things like that, so I can't be in labor much longer without a decision being made about, you know, am I going to progress, am I not? So I end up really never really progressing. 3 o'clock, we're still 4 centimeters dilated. She was like, okay, well, let's just slowly tick the Pitocin up again, and then I'll come back before I leave for the day. Oh my gosh, I was so discouraged. So she comes back around like 5, and I'm like, hey sis, nothing's changed. She was like, no babes. I'm like, okay, let's get her out. You know, let's have a C-section. And that was not on my birth plan at all. I think that when you say that you want a safe and healthy delivery, that you should be open to just that, a safe and healthy delivery, and it's gonna go however it goes. Girl, I got the icicle pads in my hospital bag. I got my little witch hazel mousse, honey. I got the disposable undies. I am ready to push. I'm ready for the Gucci badge. So my doctor honored it. She was like, girl, I'm not gonna do this just because you want it. However, I do see that you're not progressing. I don't think that, you know, you're going to progress. And if this is what you really want, do you really want this? Are you really sure? You know, I'm like, yeah. She was like, all right. They turned everything off, like my epidural and things, or whatever the hell the epidural was allegedly doing. Having contractions. I'm in the OR now. They like stretch my hand. They're like, have your arms out like this. They are numbing me again to give me additional medication and things like that. So this is 5:30 the next day. So I came in on January 7th, and then on January 8th at 5:30 decided that I'm gonna have a C-section. I've been in labor 24 hours. I can't eat, you know, I can't drink. You can only have ice chips and things like that. And so I'm losing my mind, y'all. You know, I also think I lost a lot of steam from the straight calf. My husband comes in and he's all strapped up in the blues and things like that. I'm honestly out of it, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired, and I'm so ready to hear the cry so that I can just calm down. And so 40 minutes later, Shayador Coleman comes into the world, and I literally fall asleep on the operating table. I don't know how long I was asleep for. I can't tell you. I don't know if it was 30 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 20. I don't know. Do I want to have another baby? Yep, despite all that. But now I'm like, oh, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here. Let's see if I can, you know, wait for my body to go into labor, and let's see if I can sit in some warm water for a little longer. Let's see if I can push my epidural a little longer. just different things that I learned from this birth. And everybody kept saying like, oh, it's your first? Oh, okay. Like, what the f does that mean? If you have any questions or if you feel like I left anything out, let me know. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.